Senior Moments, sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group on News Talk KVNU, 102 FM and 610 AM.
Welcome to the Senior Moment Show. My name is Bruce Lee. I am your host today, along with my co-host, Sid Roederer. How are you, Sid?
Good morning, Bruce. I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing great. I'm glad you're back. You were gone for a little bit there, and now we're glad you're back.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for returning. Everybody's happy. We're super excited today to have Wendy Farr as our guest. She's the development manager for Northern Utah for the Alzheimer's Association. Welcome, Wendy.
Thank you, Bruce. I am glad to be here today, and I get to meet Sid for the first time. This is exciting.
Yeah, I've been complaining because her title's too long. But we'll talk to her more about that in just a second. Before we do that, though, Sid. Yeah. Sid, tell us about our sponsor.
I'd be happy to. Our sponsor is the Empowering Seniors Group, which is a group of professionals that has dedicated their time and effort to provide information to seniors, their family members, and really anybody who cares. And we do so via this radio show. If you'd like to learn more about the Empowering Seniors Group, you can do so online at empoweringseniors.info, or you can email us at empoweringseniors.cv@gmail.com. And lastly, you can call me personally at 435-512-6406.
Thank you, Sid. And let's turn our attention to Wendy here.
Yes.
She's part of the Alzheimer's Association. As I mentioned, she's the development manager for Northern Utah. We'll talk more about her responsibilities in just a second. Of course, the Alzheimer's Association is a very important group out there helping people. But even before we get into that, we want to learn about who Wendy is, maybe some of your background and what's led you into this world and this industry.
Okay, well, it may be crossover with Bruce a little bit, with a little bit of our background. But originally, my journey began when I was 17, and I had an opportunity to work in a skilled nursing facility. It may have been as a forced volunteer situation. I don't need to go into those details. But having that opportunity to see the individuals and see the elderly as well as developmentally delayed adults really inspired me, and I ended up going into special education. So originally a teacher, and that grew into a love of older adults when in 2004, my husband and I decided to purchase a non-medical home care company that may sound familiar to Bruce's background. And we had moved to Colorado Springs in Colorado back in 1991. And the experiences that we had with the senior care professionals, with the families, the adult children, but particularly the seniors and the struggles that they had, whether it was dementia or whether it was physical disabilities or lack of mobility, lack of information, whatever it may have been. It was a real pleasure to be able to help guide, influence, be positive, and the opportunities to, in a small way, make their lives a little bit better.
Yeah, that theme sounds very familiar to us here.
I thought it probably would. Yeah, yes. Absolutely.
Yes, it does. So, and then how did you get hooked up with the Alzheimer's Association?
Well, actually, that was way back when we had we still had the non-medical home care business. So probably about 2005, we started volunteering. We were involved with the Walk to End Alzheimer's there in Colorado for several years. In fact, I have annual picture from year after year of my children as they aged every year as we, had attended the walk as a family. We, my husband as well as myself, we were involved with the committee. I taught a lot of the education classes. So it's going on to pretty close to 17-ish years that I had been a volunteer for the chapter there.
In Colorado.
In Colorado, yes.
And then, so recently you have moved back here, which you're originally from Utah.
Yeah, so we had been here. I mean, Joe, my husband, grew up in Ogden area, and we have a lot of ties to the area. I finished high school in Provo, and both of us attended school here in the state of Utah as well. We always knew we would be coming back. We just figured it'd be a few more years from now, and as we were contemplating if it was time, I saw this great post for a job opportunity with the association that I just knew was meant for me.
So for the listeners that maybe aren't familiar with the Alzheimer's Association, Wendy, can you tell us a little bit what you do?
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that question because it is one of the longest running support organizations for those who have dementia. We are the Alzheimer's Association, but certainly there are other dementias now that we have and are aware of that have an impact on people. So it is the Alzheimer's Association and all other dementias. And so we have a lot more information about different types of dementia that are really impacting families. Still, the majority tend to be Alzheimer's, but there's a lot more research that's involved that we have more information now. But what they've been doing is, for all of these decades now, is funding programs, education opportunities to teach families better ways of coping, better understanding and skill sets on being a caregiver, support groups. The pandemic was very helpful in many ways in that we were able to provide virtual support groups. So for those who are comfortable doing that, they can do it virtually, but we still have local support groups in many of the different areas, supporting training for other professionals. So whether it's in the retirement communities and assisted livings, and just personal development for professional staff as well. I think that's one of the most important things is giving that additional training for them.
So I learned something new because I did not know the Alzheimer's Association was working with other dementias as well.
Yes.
Maybe it's a time to take or a good moment to define dementia. And what's the difference between dementia and Alzheimer's? Because sometimes those things get confused.
Oh, awesome question. Thank you, Bruce. This is probably the single most often question I get asked, because people do mix up the terms. So the umbrella term is dementia. So if someone is struggling with memory issues and all the other situations that may arise because of a type of dementia, it is under that umbrella of dementia. Underneath that umbrella, we have several different types. The majority still comes out as, Alzheimer's, but there is also frontotemporal dementia. There is Lewy body dementia. Most of your listeners will recognize, Robin Williams, the actor. He had Lewy body dementia. And I think I'm forgetting some of the other larger ones, but there are, at this point, we have looked at about 100 different types of dementia that are available. Vascular, that was the one I was thinking of. So vascular dementia is a big impact on anyone that has had symptoms of stroke or those other types of medical issues, as well as dementia that might come because of medication that they shouldn't be taking at the same time. So there's a variety of different reasons, about 100 different types so far.
So before we head into our first break, which is coming here quickly, I would maybe like to give you a chance. If somebody has questions and just would like to learn about dementia, is there a phone number they can call or a website?
Yes. ALZ.org is our website. It's a pretty easy one. It is a very overwhelming, exciting website to navigate because there is so much information, whether it's training and education that's available, the supports that they can access, as well as our 800 number. And I do not have that memorized.
That's okay.
I will have that.
We're going to lead in back with that after our break then. This is the Senior Moments Show. We're going to take a short break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Reed's Pharmacy in Hiram offers free delivery service 5 days a week, Monday through Friday throughout the Valley. Just stay home and they will deliver to you. With 25 different suppliers, they won't have the shortage that others might have. Also, with compounding and many other services, they will be able to serve all your needs. In order to stay safe and help slow the spread, please call Reed's Pharmacy in Hiram at 245-DRUG, and they will take care of you.
You You have a lot of options when it comes to buying or selling a home. Do you list it online, sell it yourself, or do you have a realtor help? It's a major financial and emotional decision. A realtor is the liaison between buyers and sellers and really helps you navigate complex contracts, deadlines, and disclosures.
Hi, this is Sid Roeder with Achievement Realty.
I work for you to get the best outcome for your situation. Let me earn your trust with a free consultation and a free market analysis. Call me today at 512-6406. Then list it, sell it, and move on.
Did you know that one of the greatest threats to our quality of life is a fall? 1/3 of Americans 65 and older, and 1/2 of those over 80 will fall this year. Many will never be the same again, and some will never return to their homes. This is Bruce at Comfort Care. One of the ways we can help people stay in their home is through our free in-home fall protection survey. Let us help you identify these fall risks. Call us at 754-7676. Comfort Care, 754-7676.
Did you know 1 in 3 people will visit a nursing home? Did you know that once there, they will stay there for an average of 3 years? Did you also know there are insurance options that can help cover this experience? Hi, I'm Tracy Ferris with Blue Water Health Insurance. It's not cheap to stay in a full-fledged nursing home. Long-term care insurance can help you or a loved one get the care they need and deserve. If you wait until you need it, you may be too late. Give me a call at 435-890-8155.
Welcome back to the Senior Moment Show. If you're just joining us today, Wendy Farr, who's the development. Let me try that again.
That's why you struggle with my title.
I know. Development Manager for Northern Utah for the Alzheimer's Association is with us today, and we're thankful that she's here talking about her important organization. Before we went to break, there's some irony here, but Wendy forgot her telephone number, and so she's going to share that now.
It's not my telephone number, but we do have a 24/7 helpline available to families and individuals who are looking for any type of assistance or information. It's 800-272-3900.
So when people call that number, what happens?
So they actually have a live person who answers that call. They can answer the questions, whether it's about a support group or information about local resources. They can also find like a community finder for whatever services they might need locally. But if that call needs a deeper and more in-depth conversation about what's currently going on, it can actually be transferred to one of our social workers that have, a master's in social work and are able to help process the situation, determine what the next steps would be, and give them an opportunity to have that professional help assess their situation, which is a huge benefit that they probably would not be able to get anywhere else at a 24, 7 days a week, opportunity.
And how we've talked a little bit about all the different things you do there, but maybe let's dive a little bit deeper into an outside perspective for someone who hasn't done it before. If I give you a call and let's just say I have an aging parent and obviously there's some dementia involved, and I call you for any and all help I can get, what typically happens? Are there support groups? Do you have education that's always going on? How does that work?
Yes, we have all of the above. Thank you, Sid. You just gave my my sentence and response right there. What I think is the most valuable is that when people call, generally it's because they are at a crisis moment. They don't know what to do. They have maybe tried everything within their own tool kit and to try to fix or address the issues, and they're just not able to do it on their own any longer. Attaching them, getting them directed towards the local resources is so important. That's a huge part of what we do. Also comforting them and letting them know that they're not alone. That, I think, is the second most important thing that families need to understand. They are not doing this by themselves. And this, for whatever reason, this particular illness, it makes people and family caregivers in particular feel that they are completely on their own, an island with nobody else, helping to pay attention. That's a huge part of what we offer too.
So the Alzheimer's Association, we've talked a little bit about some of its objectives and maybe some of the resources that are there, but the mission of the association itself is broader than that, right?
Yes.
So how would you articulate why does the Alzheimer's Association exist? What is it trying to accomplish?
It really is to support those who are dealing with dementia within their family. It is to support the research. I am very proud of the fact that for all those who are currently funding research clinical studies, the Alzheimer's Association is the third most funding research. Number one is the U.S. government. Second is the Chinese government, and then it's us, the Alzheimer's Association. We currently have over 450 clinical studies going on worldwide. That is a variety of new medications. It's about lifestyle. Some of them are short-term studies. Some of them are long-term, years and decades. What changes in their lifestyle has a positive impact. And then I would say our advocacy efforts are currently, I think, at the top of our list on the important things that are happening. For years, we have talked about trying to find a cure. Everything our programs do, everything with our funding has been about trying to find some cure. We currently are in an era of treatment. There are 2 drugs that have been approved as of January 6th of this year by the FDA. And I can't go into the reasons as to why the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid would choose not to cover these medications, but they're choosing not to. And our advocacy efforts are probably the number one thing that we are focused on right now. So much so that in June, on the 21st, I believe it's a Wednesday, it's also the longest day with the most light, which is the day that we fight in the Alzheimer's world. We have a rally planned at the state capitol in Salt Lake at the Utah State Capitol, because we need to make our voices heard. We need to advocate for these families and for these individuals that they do deserve more time. And this particular illness deserves just as much attention and support as all the other illnesses that CMS has chosen to cover those other medications.
So if somebody wants to support that rally at the Capitol and they want more information, can they find it online or can they call you?
They can call the 800 number, and I'm sure that all the rallies will be accessible with the helpline staff.
Would you mention that phone number one more time then?
Yes, it is 1-800-72... No, I said that wrong. I'm having a hard time today. 800-272-3900.
And that's an important question, Sid, because I'm probably not ever going to go to a rally. I'm not a rally type of a guy.
I've only been to one myself.
I'm not sure what would get me out to rally at the steps of the and that's not to diminish the importance of this, because it's extremely important. I agree. But my point in saying that is, if someone else feels like me, what ways can they become educated on what's going on with this? Maybe there are phone calls that can be made or emails that can be sent. What kinds of things can happen?
Contacting all of your local elected officials is probably the best way to do that.
By local, we're talking about like local state officials.
Yes.
Congress, Senate, that type of thing.
If somebody wants to do that, they are welcome to go to our website, alz.org. And there's a whole section on advocacy. There is an online petition to sign also, which will have, part of that petition gives you the opportunity to do sends it to your state and local people.
And just to be clear, we're talking about, there are now medications that have become recently available that can help people that are dealing with this disease, but for reasons that are probably related to, I'm guessing, cost, the Medicare has not picked these up and they're not being made available.
Correct.
And so people can't get the help.
Both of the drugs are meant for people who are at the early stages, but if they don't start to get those medications now, then within just a couple of years, it's going to be too late. And it's not going to be able to have the impact on them, on their family, and they will not have more time with better abilities and cognition. They will have less time with more complicated medical costs.
Thank you, Wendy. We're already on our second break here. This is the Senior Moments Show. Again, we are sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group. If you'd like to learn more about the Empowering Seniors, you can do so online at empoweringseniors.info. We're going to take a little break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This is Brian Erickson for the Sunshine Minute. Each day, our nurses, CNAs, cooks and servers, housekeepers, laundry staff, music, recreation therapy teams, office staff, receptionists, and many more arrive around the clock. These heroes show up ready and willing to serve and protect our residents and clients. We are so grateful to our dedicated team. On behalf of the Board of Sunshine Terrace Foundation and our community, thank you to all of our employees for keeping us safe. We bring more to life together.
This is Mark Thurston with White Pine Funeral Services. The best time to plan is when you have time to plan. Having a pre-arranged funeral gives peace of mind for everyone involved. White Pine will customize your final wishes to fit your needs, from a traditional burial to cremation to a custom headstone. White Pine also accepts pre-arranged plans from other mortuaries, and we will absorb any transfer or revocation fees. No penalty to you. Visit whitepinefunerals.com or come and see us for more information.
White Pine Funeral Services, here when you need us most.
It's tough knowing how to care for an aging parent. Mom has always been there for me, but now I need to be there for her. When we found out she needed surgery, I wondered how I could attend to her needs and still be mom to my kids. I was so relieved to learn about transitional rehab at Maple Springs in North Logan. From the nurses to the physical therapists, it was like their whole staff was focused on helping Mom get better. Maple Springs in North Logan was an answer to my prayers.
Learn more at maplespringsnorthlogan.com or call 753-9400.
Welcome back to the Senior Moment Show. If you're just joining us today, we're with Wendy Farr. She's with the Alzheimer's Association. She's the development manager for Northern Utah. And we've been talking about some important stuff that's happening with her organization. Before the break, we were talking about a rally that is being organized for Salt Lake. And I had mentioned that I don't know that I would go down to that, and hopefully I won't get judged for that too much, although maybe I will. I don't know. But there are
after what you said, Bruce, everybody's expecting that you're sending emails to your congressman.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So there.
Right.
But
there are other ways to get involved, Sid, and I want to talk about one of them because there's a local event that we do every year, and it's actually a really, really important way to show up and support the Alzheimer's Association and people who are dealing with this disease, and it's also a fundraiser to help with research and other things. So tell us about that, Wendy.
Within the state of Utah, we actually have 7 different Walk to End Alzheimer's. So the Walk for Northern Utah, I actually I have oversight over 2 of them, Cache Valley, as well as the Weber-Davis counties as well. It really is more than a walk. When people think about going and supporting some kind of an event, the question I always get asked by people, like, well, what if I can't walk that far? It's not about the walking. It really is to gather, to celebrate, to honor, to recognize that we're not alone. As I said in the earlier segment, people feel like they're doing this all by themselves. And in an event like this, they realize they're not doing it by themselves. The event for Cache Valley, which would also involve anyone from Rich as well as Box Elder counties if they wanted to attend, is on Saturday, September 16th at 10 o'clock a.m. It's at the Merlin Olson Park. It should only be a couple of hours. It certainly is a fundraiser. Opportunity for us to do our own part to help fund the research as well as all the different programs locally as well as on a statewide basis as well. It also helps cover the cost for that helpline to help people. But aside from the fundraising, aside from the party, it is that moment of celebration to honor those that we have in our lives. Earlier you asked me about, the reason, like, why do we do this? Why is it important? Well, it's important because everyone who has had a loved one that has had a dementia has a story. There's a reason that person, that involvement that they had in their lives, whether it was a grandparent, a spouse, a sibling, and I love getting to know people's stories. My story started with a grandfather. That's why we were motivated back in 2004 to start our home care company. That's why we wanted to have an impact on other people's lives. So gathering, participating with the Walk to End Alzheimer's is really about supporting and remembering those that we've lost, supporting and hopefully advocating for those who won't have to pass away from this illness in the future. And walking away knowing that they were acknowledged, they were remembered, and that we're not doing this by ourselves.
Yeah, I think that's really relevant. So for someone who's never been at the walk, you say the walk is not necessarily the most important. So do you have people that speak, or how do I imagine the event?
Yeah, so we gather at 10 o'clock. There is a ceremony. It's representative of the different colors. Many people do see our flowers that we use as part of our, our branding for our mission that we provide for families. So there's a ceremony that kind of highlights the different colors. The yellow flower represents someone who is a caregiver. The blue represents an individual who has the diagnosis. The orange color represents someone who is in the community. They're supportive. They're maybe a professional, but maybe don't have personal impact with the disease. And sadly, the purple represents those that we've lost. And to see several hundred people gathered in a park with flowers of all those colors representing our, who we are and how we all relate to it is really important. I encourage everyone to come. You can go to our website, alz.org/walk, and that will take you to the page where you can choose which state, and then that would take you to one of the 7. You can choose which one that makes the most sense and is most convenient for you.
And you could do this as a team. It's
Yes.
usually not an individual, although
It's
you can
not.
do it as an individual.
Usually, it's like I would sign up as the
Family
team
organization.
captain, and then my family members would gather. For everyone who at least fundraises $100, they would get the T-shirt. And if they start now and get signed up, then they will be able to get the T-shirt sent to them before the walk comes on September 16th.
Great family reunion idea.
Awesome idea. Yes, I would encourage that. And now is the time because people are, out and they're enjoying the holidays, with the Memorial Weekend coming up right now. It's beautiful. And it's a wonderful time to remember and to remind us that it's not just those who have passed, it's those who are also currently dealing with and those who may have the illness in the future. Let's prevent, advocate, and prepare, and hopefully have a huge impact.
Thank you, Wendy. Thank you for coming
Thank
in.
you.
Sadly, we're already at the end of our show, so maybe I'll let you mention that phone number and website one last time.
Yes, 800-272-3900, and the website is alz.org. And I am Wendy Farr. Love to get to know everyone and their personal story.
Thank you, Wendy. It's been fun to visit with you and learn more about the Alzheimer Association and what goes on here in Cache Valley. This is the Senior Moments Show. Again, we are sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group. If you'd like to learn more about the Empowering Seniors, you can do so online at empoweringseniors.info. We're at the end of our show, so we hope you tune in again next week.